Better set myself to D&D.
I like how that's going to be the start of the show. Here we go.
In control against our Tosis debate. And we're going back and forth.
What is up, everyone? It is Wednesday, March 14th, 2012. Welcome to State of the Game. I'm JP McDaniel, and today on the show we've got Dan. Oh, wait, he's not here. Artosis, I don't know where you're at, but you missed the show. I'm upset with you. The world's upset with you. You fucked up. Congratulations. Let's move right along, though. The person that is here is, of course, Liquid Noni, which I still haven't gotten used to calling you yet. Tyler, how's it going?
Going great, man. Happy to be here at our new time.
Oh, this is our new
our one-time new time.
This week's time of
yeah.
10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. Who knows when it will be next week. Also on the show, we've got Kevin Cole, QXC Riley. Kevin, how's it going?
Good. How's it going?
It's going good, man. I love your $7 webcam.
Much hate.
Everyone can thank him or thank his team soon because they will be getting him a new one apparently. And then, of course, our special guest for today is none other than Sean Day9 Plot. Sean, how's it going?
That is so unfair. You can't call me a special guest. You keep just like popping the game out, and then I don't know the time because I'm airborne or something, and I land and find out there was a show yesterday. I'm the Phantom Pillar. That's what I want to be called.
You're the shaky pillar. You're the one that's not sure if it's going to be there every episode. But you make do, man. You make do, and that's why we love you, Sean.
I'm doing great. I'm actually here doing setup at the Red Bull land, which is behind me. I'm in the production area above everything, so I'm going to give like a little brief rotation of some of the areas that are there. This is not the best way to demonstrate, as I'm basically just holding up a laptop, but you can see the red lights in the projector screen is going to be a lot of the Halo. You see the up in the center stage, you see the booths and the Full Sail University tags. In between there's going to be a big StarCraft projector. And then this couch lounge area, I'll be just behind that doing the casting and a lot of the player interviews and stuff. So
awesome.
And if any of you are in Florida, you can come to Full Sail University on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday after 5:30, and come on in.
And that's it for Sean. He's off the show. We'll see you next week. Now we'll be talking about the Red Bull land a little bit later in the day, or in the show rather. We got a lot of stuff to cover today. Also coming on the show will be Stephano. He's at a shooting range or something right now in Texas. He's on his way back from that. I guess White Rod took him out or someone in Texas. I don't know. We'll have to get the full story from him. And then, of course, we do have Orb coming on in just a little bit. That will actually start off the night. But first, we do have some house cleaning stuff to discuss. We are doing a special show, actually, on Sunday. So, Sean, here's the announcement of this. You probably won't be able to make it because it's going to be in Texas, in Austin at the Lone Star Clash tournament. After the grand finals are over, I'll be there. In Control will be there. And Tyler will be there, and we'll probably pull in some other people from the tournament as well and be putting on a live show Sunday after the grand finals of the tournament ends, probably anywhere from 8 to 10 Central. Don't really have a set time. Just if you're watching that tournament, you watch the finals. We'll be on right afterwards. Other than that, next week we will not have a normal show. We are going to have a MLG preview show on Thursday from the MLG hotel. It'll probably just be in a random hotel room. Don't know what time that's going to go down just yet, but I will probably know more next week. Jeff should be there. Tyler, you're going to be able to make that? I think this is the first time I've told you about it as well.
I think I will.
Grubby has mentioned that he might be down to do it. We'll probably just grab a bunch of different players and put on a very impromptu show, previewing kind of the MLG first Winter Championships and what that all means instead of kind of trying to cram a show in on Monday before I leave for Columbus. And then the other thing that I wanted to talk about was the show not being on week to week. This is actually the best that it's done in the past 3 months. I think is this the third week in a row, Tyler? Second week in a row?
The first week in a row. This is the first time it's happened since the year began.
Exactly.
And I'm glad to be part of it.
We've been pretty bad about it. We're looking to do better. but I mean, the simple fact is that like Sean was on a. You were in New York yesterday or some shit, right? Like,
Yeah,
you're traveling everywhere.
I was in the MIT Sloan conference that I totally landed in time to attend State of the Game from on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then I did South by Southwest in Texas, followed by New York City on Monday and Tuesday, and I just got here to Orlando on Wednesday.
Yeah. So take that schedule, multiply it by 5, because that's how many pillars there are, and that's kind of how batshit insane it is when it comes to scheduling the show. I don't know when all 5 of us will be at the same place. I guess MLG will be the first time, but we're going to be so tired during that weekend that we're not doing a show on Saturday or Sunday. I'm not doing that. Maybe Tuesday. I don't know.
You just need to get a different named show, like Distaste for the Game.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. It'll be on whenever it happens. Like, I don't know. So,
And can I also just say that at just the right light, Kevin looks like the hooker killer from Sin City with the glasses like lights.
That's true. All right.
There, I saw it.
Poor Sean.
He has the voice of an angel.
Poor QXC and the $7 webcam.
They're replaceable. The first one broke, I just bought another one. They only have like a 2-month lifespan, though.
2 months. All right. Well, I know that Scott said he's going to be getting a new one, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes when we invite you on next time. But we're going to start off the show, guys, with something that has pretty much been talked to death. But I want to put the nail in the coffin, if it's not already there already, because we have just talked about, or this has been talked about so much. But for those of you who don't know the storyline, Orb was casting the EG Masters Cup. Some stuff came out of him in the EG's house, saying some not so nice, or using some not so nice language there in the house. Blew up on Reddit, and EG was kind of forced to let him go because of it after some more stuff appeared, and he lied, and et cetera, et cetera. You can go read a ton about it on Reddit, because I just basically hit the general points on it. But I just want to go around it and just get general thoughts from everyone, and there are some other things that I do want to touch on before we bring Orb on. So, QXC, we'll start with you, Mr. Sin City. What was this handled properly in your eyes? Was there anything that you would do differently, or how messed up of a situation in your eyes was it?
Okay, so from EG's point of view, I think that they made the correct decision. They don't have a very strong connection to Orb. I think he just started working for them like, not too long ago. And it's much easier for them to just cut ties and kind of denounce him than it is to try and bring him into the fold. It's much easier for them to please sponsors and to get people off their back. So I think if I was in Alex's position, I probably would have done the same thing. The part that really bothers me about the whole situation is how long ago it happened and how like it's just ladder wage. It wasn't like he was demeaning black people or like burning crosses on someone's lawn. Like someone probably foregated him and he got mad, and like just because of all the publicity around it, EG was forced to make the decision that they made.
Yeah. Tyler, you got any thoughts on it?
Well, I think one thing that came out of it was it kind of got scary how easily the community can go panic to a team's sponsors. Exactly. Because I feel like when the community tells sponsors, I'm no longer supporting your team because of this, I don't like your team anymore, that's like a bigger negative than it is a positive for somebody to tell a sponsor, hey, I like your team, I like this player that's on a team that you sponsor. I feel like it's much easier for the community to ruin a team than it is to make a team. And so that's pretty scary. I mean,
yeah.
Of course, teams got to behave properly, but we know how the community can get carried away sometimes, and to judge before all the facts are out. And so that just kind of gave me a new perspective on feedback to sponsors, the way the community has gotten smart, so to say, that they know how to stick it to the team. But as for Orb, I feel like any other established industry, especially entertainment, person in a position like Orb, it's a no-brainer you have to fire him. like a analyst on NBC or something,
Yep.
or Fox or something like that, they're going to get fired instantly. There's no question. So I feel like EG had the only decision to make was to let him go. On the other hand, I feel like that Orb can overcome this and still go on to a successful career in esports. And
Right.
if EG had supported him, it would have been even easier to do that. So I feel like they could have had a successful relationship if they both worked at it. So in a sense, it doesn't make sense to fire him, but that doesn't really play out very well. Like you have to fire him. So there was that, and I think it was weird how he denied that instance was him, and I'm not going to say whether or not it was him, but he knows that the way he behaved on stream a long time ago, like he knows that behavior is not really a secret. So even if it wasn't him, I think like alarms should go off in his head. Oh, like, I used to do stuff like this, and I'm going to have to own up to it. It's going to come out. It's come out now. And I think at that point it would have been much wiser for him to own up to his behavior in the past. And maybe that's the only thing that could have saved his job.
Yeah, that's very true. Sean, what are your thoughts on the? Yeah,
This is interesting because we have three different people who are going to actually. We all have three pretty different things. Like Tyler's mentioned about the sponsor, and Kevin's mentioned about kind of like the EG's fourth hand. And in my eyes, this is like the shining example of the fact that you do not get to have those different personalities of anonymity that you're often used to in those sorts of situations.
Right.
It's very easy, for instance, to say, oh yeah, I was just raging out and I got mad, and that's what I do when I rage out. But when I cast, I'm totally professional, and that's the way it is. And you kind of want to separate the personality that you have when you're raging in a private ladder game versus your casting personality. But you actually literally cannot do that and shouldn't ever expect to be allowed to do that. It's almost like if you're a designer of a game and all of a sudden people start hacking and breaking your system. I don't want to say hacking and breaking, but start really exploiting bugs that you didn't want them to do. You can't say, well, hey, no, you just don't do that, because I don't really want you to. That doesn't seem appropriate. If it's completely within the rule set, you always kind of have to account for that. So, I mean, I know that a lot of pros, take this approach where they will just smurf and completely hide that part of their personality and just completely avoid anything like that. And, I mean, obviously the optimal solution is just to be pleasant all the time, but it's getting to the point where more and more you just don't have any anonymity anymore. You are who you are. Anytime you open your mouth, you have to really be comfortable with everyone hearing that. I mean, you ever think about the position that actually everyone who's on this show is on, where if we say something kind of lewd or pushy, we don't just have people like the community that would hear it. Like my mother would hear about it. Like there's a lot of parents who read Team Liquid. There are organizations that were interested in esports, and they hear that behavior and they immediately withdraw. At all points in time, you really have to work under the assumption that everyone can hear you. And if it turns out that you actually do prefer to go on, have a fun time laddering and rage out at some people and in good fun, that's totally fine. But you have to be, willing to accept that fact if it comes to light. And I think that a lot of people in the StarCraft community, well, actually just in the general new media space, are struggling with that gap where they have their personal life and they have their public persona, but their personal life is kind of public anyways.
Yeah.
Like, I work really hard to make sure I have a really clear private cordon section that no one can invade, where I can just think my whatever things and play StarCraft and be cool and stuff. And yeah, I guess I'm just belaboring my point, damn it. You get what I'm saying. Yeah. I don't have a conclusion, I'm just going to stop talking.
Right. I feel like what Tyler said, it's almost kind of sad, the fact that there was so much pressure on EG to let him go because people contacted the sponsors of EG saying, I'm no longer going to support you or your team, or who knows really how extreme that went. But I mean, sure, the community is kind of expressing the fact that they do have a voice and they can say something like that, but to me, it seems like we should almost handle that stuff internally as an industry before we go out and show the rest of the people who are just now stepping into esports kind of like that we do things like this. Like it's not it's not a representation of what goes on at large. It's a small thing that happened.
It was extreme too. Like Alex Garfield responded to the issue really quickly on Reddit, and he said, "We're taking this seriously. We're investigating it." Actually, and Scoots did too. I think like
he said on live.
He first did. And then the more screenshots surfaced, and then Alex was like, "Okay, this is a problem. We're going to look into it. Please withhold judgment until we've done an internal investigation and figured things out." And the community just didn't hold judgment. I mean, they went to extremes. They contact sponsors, and I think you at least, when you have such a interactive CEO of the team, reaching out and saying, "Hey guys, I'm going to take care of this. Just wait a second." And people don't respect that. That's a little bit of a problem. They need to rein that in if they can.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, I personally have the opinion that I would like it if people, did that and sort of waited for everything to occur. But at the same time, I feel like it's less the StarCraft community or the competitive esports space and more just the way new media works. I mean, this is the case with stuff that's happened with U.S. senators inadvertently tweeting certain things. That stuff spreads like wildfire in 45 minutes, and suddenly the entire world has heard about it. And it's getting to the point where really the only way that you can prevent this from being an issue is to just not run your mouth in the first place, which is very difficult for a lot of people. I'm not saying it's like, oh, it's easy, just don't get pissed off when you lose. Like, everyone in the entire universe has raged before at a loss, right? But it's just the world we live in nowadays. You just have no privacy in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, that's obviously the answer is like, don't do things like this. None of it will happen. But I still feel like, whoa, the static went away completely there. That's incredible. The other things too is today on Live on 3, actually about probably 2 hours ago, Scoots came out at the very end and said some pretty, I guess, quotable stuff. He had no choice but to drop him after all the shit went down. It was really sad to let him go as a producer because, I mean, he was going to use him for the casting all weekend long, and they had to replace that. He also hopes that someone else gives him a shot. That was a direct quote. And that there's a dramatic difference that players are treated in the way that players are treated and the way that casters are treated, which is the last point that I wanted to bring up is that something that we should actually kind of uphold? Should players be treated differently if they are to say something like this? And I don't know if a player has gone as extreme as this in the past, but people are pretty quick to note that Idra has said some pretty choice words in the past. So Scott's ideas on it are that there's athletes and non-athletes. Athletes are put on a pedestal and they get fined, which EG does have in place. Players are treated as players and not as staff. That's the nature of it. And that Greg's BM is less and less a problem, as they do get scolded and or fined for that. So Tyler as a player and QXE as a player, do you guys think you should be treated differently for this, or should you be kind of reprimanded the same way that Orb was?
Go for it, Kevin.
Okay, so a couple things I want to talk about. First of all, I think one of the things is Orb isn't. It's really distracting hearing the partial echo.
I apologize.
Okay, so I'm just going to talk with my headphones off so that I can actually focus.
Oh, we can't hear me.
So basically, one of the things about the issue is Orb isn't a huge caster, and so, like, I think if is everything okay, guys?
Sean's just trolling.
What's going on?
Sean, you wonder why I don't tell you what time we're on.
Did my mic's not working or something?
There was some background noise in my area, so I've had my mic muted the whole time, and for some reason, I'm hearing some crazy echoing from someone.
No, that's because I spit back the audio to you guys. You just have to deal with it.
It's JP.
JP.
That's how it works, man.
I've never noticed it before. Something's changed.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, wait, but you guys can hear me, right?
Yes.
I can talk about
hear you twice.
All right, the echoes. I'm still taking the headphones off because the echoes too much.
Okay.
So anyway, I think the situation would have been a little bit different if, let's just use Sean as an example. If Sean had been the one who had been revealed as having the huge crazy PM in some like long ladder game or whatever, just because
no, I can't hear anything you're saying, and I know you're talking about me.
Like, that's the people who are more popular will not get punished as much. Like if Hydra wasn't good, then he would probably be punished more. But in terms of like, and then the other thing that's a little different is casters are faces to the community, and players are more about their skill and what they do in the game. Casters are more about how they present themselves. So it makes sense that they would be treated differently. And that's all I have to say.
All right. Well, me and Sean are having a very important debate.
How do I sound,
like,
Sean?
Yeah, I can actually see that the echo's coming from.
I know it's coming
JP.
from me. That's how it spits into XSplit. Why'd you mute yourself again, Sean?
What?
Oh, now your webcam is delayed. Never mind.
Yeah,
There's something different, JP. This is really bad. I think
every single person is having a
it's
duplicated
because they're
audio
loud.
because you're feeding the audio back to us when we talk.
I know. I do that purposely. I do that purposely so they can communicate with this Skype over here when we do call-ins at the end.
Dude, well, whatever you
fuck the call-ins. This is not.
Yeah,
Well, I
this is
can't
not
change
worth
it on I can't change it on the fly.
Collins.
It's way too hard to focus and think when you
Like,
hear yourself echoing.
I literally haven't even heard anything that Kevin has said. Sean for it as an example, and I was like, all right, let's. And then it sounded like he was speaking backward.
All right, I'm gonna take the show off. We'll be back
Wait.
in just a little bit, guys. I can't
There's
fix
just something
it.
different.
There's nothing different. It's just how it is. Sean hasn't been on this season, so I'm gonna go fix the audio. We'll be back when I fix this. See you guys in just a little bit.